Okay, we should be live. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we have got coverage for the Brazilian Grand Prix qualifying round two today. It is still raining. Oh, that's my phone just vibrating there. We have got. It is still raining in Brazil. However, it is light rain rather than heavy rain, which means that, well, it is lighter rain than yesterday. I wouldn't say it's light by any stretch of the imagination. However, we should be able to go qualifying in this. It will most likely be on the borderline of wets and inters. I think the drivers will probably come out on the wets initially just to get a feel for the track, and then they'll come out on intermediate tyres. So that's the situation update. Qualifying starts in 30 minutes time, and yeah, it's looking good. The FIA shouldn't cancel this, mainly because the rain is a lot lighter than yesterday, and also the drainage on the track can actually drain enough water. Yesterday the rain was so intense that the drainage on the circuit couldn't drain all of the water away, and we had massive rivers and massive puddles on the track, which were huge dangers to drivers. And because of that, we couldn't go racing yesterday. Also, there would have been visibility problems. If the visibility is so bad because of all of the spray that the marshals can't see if a driver's crashed or not, or if the driver can't see 100 meters ahead of them, then you get much bigger problems. So yeah, there were quite a few reasons why qualifying was cancelled yesterday. I'll run through most of them, but yeah, we are 30 minutes away from the start of qualifying, and we should actually be going qualifying today. It is raining, and in fact, folks, I have an interesting statistic for you here. There are 5 times in the history of Formula One that qualifying has been delayed from a Saturday onto a Sunday, and in those 5 times, every single time, a German driver has ended up on pole position. We've had Sebastian Vettel 2 times, Michael Schumacher 2 times, and Nico Rosberg 1 time. So the 5 times that Formula One has been delayed to a Sunday, or qualifying has been delayed to a Sunday, it's been a German driver. So maybe it's going to be Nico Hulkenberg's time to shine again. 14 years ago, he did get pole position at the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2010, and maybe 14 years later, he manages to get a pole position again. That would be one hell of a story for sure. It's just science. It's just statistics. We'll see what happens. Delayed quali is great for me because I can actually watch quali at a regular time. Yeah, I'm sure for a lot of people, the time zones line up a lot better than what it was yesterday. Yeah. F1 Gamer, did you recently wake up? Yeah, I woke up about an hour ago, so yeah, that explains my slightly weird voice, but yeah, I should be fine. I've had a coffee. Yeah. So just to reiterate, folks, the circuit is most definitely wet. The drivers most likely will come out on wet tyres to start off the session, and then they will quickly switch onto intermediates because I don't think it is good enough for the full wets. However, the rain is still falling. It's not light rain by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely lighter than yesterday, and the drivers will be happy about that. The FIA will be happy about that because visibility will be a lot better, and yeah. Where does Max start from P15 like on the screen? No, qualifying hasn't taken place, so yeah, Max will start wherever he qualifies. But of course, he has got a 5-place grid penalty. We still have to take that into account. Even if he does get pole in today's qualifying session, he will still end up starting in 6th position for the race. All right. Yeah. All right, let's see. What else have we got to talk about? Oh yeah, apparently, I'm not 100% certain here, but apparently Gabriel Bortoleto has been confirmed to be to sign with the Sauber team, or Sauber or Audi for next year. So it'll be Nico Hulkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto instead of Valtteri Bottas or Kevin Magnussen or Colapinto. It seems to be Bortoleto that's the driver that's been chosen. Those are the rumours. Apparently it's been confirmed. However, nothing official has come out yet, so we'll wait and see what happens. All right. Why didn't he serve the 5 place penalty during the sprint? He didn't serve the 5 place penalty during the sprint because the FIA have decided that you serve your grid penalties in the normal race because that's where the most points are awarded. So yeah, it makes sense, to be fair. You would just serve your penalty in the actual race. There's no point doing it twice in the sprint and in the actual race. And yeah. What's happening with Colapinto? Apparently, and also this is also rumors. However, the Argentinian journalist that sort of leaked slash released the news that Colapinto would be driving for Williams, he has once again come out and said Colapinto has been signed for Red Bull for around, he's been signed for Red Bull. Now, I don't know if that means signed into the Red Bull Driver Academy, so he'll be driving for AlphaTauri, or if he's driving for the Red Bull team, and that will mean he'll be driving for the actual Red Bull car. However, that's what the Argentinian journalist has said, and he's the same one that said Colapinto would be driving the Williams this season. So that is the situation updates on the drivers and who's going to be taking part where. But we'll find out. Hey F1 Gamer, what is the situation at Interlagos? Just tuned in. It is intermediate conditions by the looks of it. Yeah, the safety cars are driving around, the marshals are on the track. The safety car and the medical car driving around though. The spray is not that big, however, it is wet conditions, and we will definitely have intermediate running. So I think I'm going to pin a message in the chat or something saying inter conditions on the circuit, because we're going to have loads of people asking that. Inters track is perfect for inters. All right. There we go. In case quali can't take place, how does the grid line up? The grid lines up according to technically it's meant to be according to free practice times. However, I think the race director or the stewards will make an overruling exemption, and they'll say we'll use sprint qualifying rather than free practice 1 because it's more representative. Yeah. What about Sauber's affiliate in F2, champion Theo Porcher? Is he isn't good enough? Well, see, this is the thing. I don't think it is Sauber that gets to make the decision. I think it's more Audi has a say in the decision. And Audi, of course, they aren't sponsoring Theo Porcher in Formula 2. It's Sauber doing that. So I guess Audi sees something in Gabriel Bortoletto that they don't see in Porcher, and because of that, they have given him the contract. F1 Gamer, have you just woken up? Yeah, that's the second time someone's asked that, so I don't know. Yeah, we've got 22 minutes till we get underway till qualifying, and the rain is still falling. Predicted conditions for the race later. The rain is predicted to carry on falling until just before the start of the race. However, if you check on Google, it says the rain's falling all day. And yeah, so I don't really know what it's going to be. I think the most accurate information that we'll get is from the weather radar that the FIA have on hand to them, or the teams have on hand to them, and we haven't got any TV shots of that yet. Oh, let me just pause those adverts there. Apologies for that. Yeah. Right. How's the situation with Perez looking after the sprint yesterday? What's happening with Ricciardo replacing Perez? I don't think that's happening. I don't think they're gonna, after kicking Ricciardo out of Formula One because he wasn't quick enough, and replacing Sergio Perez with Ricciardo. I mean, that makes zero sense. Lawson has performed fantastically in his first 2 races of Formula One, and if they were to sign Ricciardo, then why would have they bought Colapinto? So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I don't think those rumors are particularly true. I don't think he's coming back. All right. It's actually fun if they use the FP1 standings for Verstappen's in 15th, and with the grid penalty, it'll be 20th. Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah, of course, for the Norris fans, they would absolutely love it. For the Max fans, they'll be like, this is not fair. Sprint qualifying took place. And see, this is the thing. The rules weren't written, all of the Formula 1 rules weren't written with the sprint race in mind. So because of that, quite a lot of the rules, like in these sort of extreme outlier circumstances, they don't take into account the possibility of, oh, maybe a sprint race happened that weekend and we should take that into account. But they just consider that it was a normal free practice 1, 2, and 3 rather than a sprint quali and a sprint race. And yeah, all right. Is it currently raining? Yes, it is. Why do you sound so tired? Probably because I am lacking sleep. That's probably the best reason to explain it. Yeah, lacking sleep. I have had a coffee. Um, yeah. I mean, I'll once qualifying actually gets going, my throat will get much better, and I'll sound a lot less exhausted. But yeah. Okay. What else have we got to do? I know you're a Seb fan, but don't you think rookie Alonso winning 2012 World Driver Championship with a tractor of Ferrari would have been epic? Alonso deserves at least a 33rd win. Yes, it would have been epic for sure. But I think the drive that Seb made in 2012 was also pretty epic. You know, getting spun around on the opening lap of the race and then managing to make your way through the grid. That was, I think that was 2012. Yeah, to go on to win the championship was also pretty cool. So, but of course, in that situation, I'm very biased towards Seb Vettel. All right. Also, some more news. McLaren have modified the setup of their car. In fact, all of the teams have modified the setup because they know it's going to be wet for qualifying. They know it's going to be wet for the race. They have changed their setup into a higher downforce setup because you need as much grip as possible in wet conditions. So McLaren, they did have an upgraded rear wing this weekend. However, they have taken the upgraded rear wing off and they've opted to go for another higher downforce version of a rear wing. So the pace that they had in the sprint race and in sprint quali may evaporate because this was an upgraded rear wing that seemed to work super well for them, and now they've had to take that off the car and put on a different rear wing so they can maximize downforce. So I wouldn't expect, I think don't expect the exact same results as sprint qualifying because the teams will have changed the setups, the drivers will have, the teams will have changed the type of rear wing that they're using. If they're using a medium downforce rear wing, a high downforce rear wing, um, and that can really mix things up. So yeah, qualifying is going to be nice and exciting, nice and fresh as well. Normally in sprint qualifying, and then in sprint weekends, you can basically tell what's going to happen in qualifying because sprint qualifying happened the day before. However, this weekend it will be a little bit of a mix-up. Is quality going ahead? Yes, it is, and all right. Reverse grid will be most entertaining. See, this is the thing. Reverse grid. I don't know who came up with the idea. Like initially, when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, sure, it was a good idea. However, I would like to point out to you the race with the second most Formula One overtakes was 2016 China. The 2016 Chinese Grand Prix. I would ask if any of you remember what happened in the 2016 Chinese Grand Prix. The race with the most overtakes in Formula One history is the 2023 Dutch Grand Prix, I think, or the 2022 Dutch Grand Prix. And still, even then, it's not the most exciting race. Even if there are loads of overtakes, that doesn't necessarily mean an exciting race. If Hamilton is just overtaking back markers for the entire Grand Prix, or Verstappen's overtaking back markers, I wouldn't say that's very exciting. Whereas if you have a battle for second or third place, raging for 15 laps and the final 15 laps of the race, that's something that makes a fantastic Grand Prix. Of course, overtakes are a very key factor in making a race exciting. However, just going for the maximum possible amount of overtakes doesn't make things particularly fun. And it's not a guaranteed, formula to have an interesting race. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Like the reverse grid, initially you think about it, oh yeah, the drivers who are quickest start last, and that would be super fun to see them do overtakes. But if it's easy overtakes every single time, they send a dive bomb back from 2 car lengths every time on the back marker, and the back marker just gives way because they know that the driver behind them is quicker, then I wouldn't say that's good racing. I think that's just a little boring, isn't it? Very predictable, and you know what's going to happen. Um, yeah. So we shall, well, because I think the 2018 US Grand Prix, that stands out to me as one of a fantastic race, and the top three never made in the final 20 laps, there wasn't even a single overtake in the top three, but it was so tense between Kimi Raikkonen, Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton that it still made a fantastic race regardless. So the idea that it's always the maximum amount of overtakes that makes a race interesting is just slightly flawed. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, qualifying 15 minutes time until we get underway. The 2020 Sakhir Grand Prix. Yeah, I think the Sakhir Grand Prix was. I think that was the one where Sergio Perez won. Yeah, that was a fantastic race. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not saying loads of overtakes makes a race bad, but I'm not saying that it. I'm also saying that it doesn't make it necessarily good either. There are some other things that are required to make a race considered to be a fantastic race. Um, what team is Bottas going for 2025? Unfortunately, it looks like Bottas will not have a seat in 2025. Bottas is a fantastic driver, so consistent, so quick. However, it looks like he's just being replaced by a rookie. He's been replaced by Gabriel Bortoleto, and I think the Audi team is probably missing out here. I mean, having two super experienced drivers, Valtteri Bottas and Nico Hülkenberg, in a team is a formula for success. Both drivers have so much experience in Formula One. They know how to develop a car. They give great feedback to the engineers. They're both very quick. They're both very consistent, and that would be fantastic for Audi to make their first initial steps into Formula One and make some improvements to their car and get their way up the grid. But I'm sure Hulkenberg can do it alone. But yeah, having another rookie in your team just sort of slows down that progress. And I think Bottas would have been a good choice. But of course, there is also the argument that rookies need to get into Formula One. Next year, we're going to have loads of rookies. We're going to have, we're going to have Jack Doohan. We're going to have Oliver Behrman. We're going to have Kimi Antonelli. And then Colapinto as well, maybe Colapinto and maybe Bortoleto. Not yet confirmed, but that is those are the potential rookies for next year. Bottas can go in racing anywhere he wants. Yeah, Bottas could definitely go into endurance, rally. He could go into bicycle racing for that matter. I think he's done quite a bit of gravel bike racing. I think my friend was telling me that Bottas's girlfriend is like a professional cyclist, racing cyclist, I guess. And Bottas has also been taking part in quite a few gravel bike races. So yeah, maybe Bottas will do that. 25% of the grid will be rookies. At Hamilton at Ferrari, the top four teams close. It's going to be pure cinema. Indeed, it is. It's going to be very, very exciting. So yeah, I mean, next season is I can't wait for next season, but this season is also fantastic as well. So yeah. All right, if we look at the standings, Max Verstappen is 44 points ahead of Lando Norris in the championship as of now. McLaren are 34 points ahead of Ferrari, and Red Bull are 30 points. McLaren are 34 points ahead of Ferrari, and Ferrari are 29 points ahead of Red Bull. So I think Ferrari may have a chance if McLaren have a bad weekend or have a DNF and there's a double podium for Ferrari. Ferrari have a great chance of closing up that points gap. However, it is going to be tough for them with only a limited amount of races to go now. A very limited amount of races. Okay. K-Mag deserves a seat. Yeah, K-Mag also very, very consistent, very quick. But he will also be out of a seat. This is the thing in Formula One. It's so competitive. Even if you are quick, and even if you're quick, consistent, and a fantastic driver, you're at risk of being replaced by a rookie because the rookie has the potential to be the next big thing. There's no guarantee that they'll be the next big thing and they'll be super quick. They just have the potential, and sometimes the teams want to take that risk. Sometimes the teams want to save some money, not pay the drivers 20 million, 10 million for the year, pay the rookie only 200k, and yeah, that's sometimes why we see these quick older, more experienced drivers getting replaced. Is Joe not getting replaced by anyone? Oh, Joe's getting replaced by Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg's driving for Audi next year, so it'll be Bortoletto replacing Bottas and Hulkenberg replacing Joe, or whichever way you want to take that. Like, I don't know. All right, Ocon's being replaced. Yeah, Ocon is replacing K-Mag, and Jack Doohan is replacing Ocon. Okay. Let's see. What else have we got to go? Oh, we got 4,000 people tuned into live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It massively, massively helps out the channel. And we'll be getting underway for the qualifying shortly now. Yeah, and it will not be delayed like yesterday. The rain seems to have... Has it stopped? Yeah, I might need to change the heavy rain in my title, but the rain looks to have stopped at least for a moment now, and but the track is most definitely wet, and the drivers will be out on intermediate tires. So yeah, intermediate tires still the best tires for now. Yeah, we are only 8 minutes away from qualifying, so not long till the cars are out onto the circuit. Oh no, folks, I don't know what I was talking about. The rain is still falling. Yeah, I just couldn't see it very well on the camera. No, the rain is definitely still falling. It's just not all that heavy anymore. Right. New subscriber, loved your work last week. Keep doing what you do. Very much is appreciated, Nicolas. Do any drivers have penalties this race? Yes, it is. Max Verstappen has a 5-place grid penalty, and that is the only penalty that we have for this weekend. Hope you hit 200k by the end of the season. Well, I mean, that would be fantastic. However, I think it's fairly unlikely. Yeah, just hit 100k about in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which was only a couple of races ago. All right. 8 minutes is enough for the Sauber to set a fast lap indeed. Well, in these wet conditions, the lap times are going to jump from, what's it, a 1 minute 10, a 1 minute, yeah, it's going to jump from 1 minute 10 to probably around the 1 minute 30s. I'm not 100% certain, but they're definitely going to jump up by a significant amount. Max did have a 5-second penalty in the sprint. Yeah, he got given a 5-second penalty for speeding, or not speeding, but he was going. He broke the safety car speed limit, the virtual safety car speed limit. Sorry, and because of that, he got handed a penalty. All right. That is the situation for Max Verstappen. So he ended up finishing the sprint in 4th position rather than 3rd. But all is still well for now. Is it raining? Yes, it is, folks. It is raining. I mean, I feel like I'm going to have to stick a massive piece of text on the screen saying it is raining because there's just so many questions. But I thought it would be obvious by saying the track is perfect for inters. Yeah, I mean, how many of you currently watching were here yesterday for the F1 Gamer podcast? While the FIA was just indefinitely delaying the session, and as I predicted, they would just cancel it. But they do this every time. They just keep on delaying it, even though they know that the rain isn't going to stop. They just delay it indefinitely, and then after 2 hours, they're like, "Oh yeah, maybe we should cancel." All right. Average FIA moment. To be fair, that's how it goes. Here we go then. Stayed up until almost two. Yeah, no qualifying. Very unfortunate. It is. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you got some more sleep. Okay. But with the rain out, who are your predictions? Who are your favourites? You know, is it going to be Fernando Alonso that gets a surprise third place? Is it going to be Lewis Hamilton, who after a bad sprint quali and a bad sprint race that he described as his worst race that he's ever had? Is he going to be able to bounce back? Will Verstappen end up on pole? Will Norris be able to pull out a sensational lap in the wet? Lots of drivers and lots of teams do look at Lando Norris's wet driving and analyse the lines that he's taking. Oh, Sodi Pop, thank you for the donation. Very much, no, not the donation, the joining the YouTube members. That is very much appreciated. Yeah. We could have, the rookies. We've got Behrman trying to, who will be taking place in his first wet qualifying session. There'll be Colapinto in his first wet quali. There'll be Lawson in his first wet quali. How will the rookies do? Yeah. Let's wait and see. Did you get your silver play button yet? Yes, I did. If you guys want to go have a look, then it's on the community tab of my channel. And yeah, you can go see the silver play button. But I mean, it's just a silver play button. I'm sure many of you have seen what they look like. All right. Hey everyone, gamer, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. And is it raining on track? Yes, it is. What else have we got to? I heard the play buttons are really small. Yeah. 2 weeks before I hit 100k, they downgraded the size of the play button. It used to be sort of A4 size or slightly bigger than A4, but they downgraded it to slightly bigger than A5. So yeah, I was very unfortunate at the timing. 2 weeks before I hit 100k, they had changed the sizes, but it's still a silver play button. It's still pretty awesome. So. Not going to complain. Are you gonna do a face reveal? The only situation under I would do a face reveal is if I was to get a Formula One driver, an ex-Formula One driver, to come on my live stream. And in that situation, I would do a face reveal. Apart from that, probably not. Yeah. All right. Here we go then. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 3 minutes away from the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix qualifying. It is round number 21 of 24, and we are in Interlagos in Sao Paulo. This race circuit has got so much history in Formula One. It's a total of 4.3 kilometers. The drivers spend around 60% of the lap at full throttle. That's in dry conditions. In wet conditions, that's going to be a lot lower. We have 40 meters of elevation change. The drivers are going to have to be very wary of the elevation change on the circuit because the local elevation, if on the inside of the corner, the track sort of tilts inwards to the apex, then there's going to be a big old puddle of water just right there on the apex. So the drivers want to miss that. It's going to be super key for the drivers to gain the knowledge. They'll be exploring all of the different curbs, which curbs have grip, which curbs don't, which bit of the AstroTurf has grip. Do you want to drive over the painted white line? Do you not? They're going to be exploring the circuit as well, which bits of the asphalt have more grip, which bits of the asphalt don't have more grip. It is going to be spectacular. It is still raining here in Sao Paulo. The conditions are intermediate conditions. We will probably not see the full wet tyres from any of the drivers, but I can tell you for now, this is going to be a sensational qualifying session, and we are 2 minutes away from starting. I'm just going to refresh the data on the left-hand side of the screen. The screen will go black for around about 10 seconds, and then we should be underway. So the live timing should. What's going on there? There we go. No transcriptions. We've got the radios coming through now from, and then there we go. We have the most up-to-date data as well. Fantastic. Yeah. I don't know why we don't have the. In fact, I'm just going to do another quick refresh. I don't know why we don't have the information about the track temperatures and things like that. However, yeah, the screen will go black and it'll be back in about 10-15 seconds. But yeah, we are now 50 seconds away from the start of qualifying. Drivers already queued up at the end of the pit lane. You can see them there on the track map, everyone getting ready to go racing. and they're going to fire up the engines as soon as the clock hits 0. DRS has been disabled as expected, and once the drivers come out, you'll see that it's intermediate tires, and there we go. We have the track information as well. It'll be 22 degrees track temperature, 2.2 kilometers per hour wind, 19-degree air temperature, and everyone should be good to go. All right, let's get rid of this timer on the screen, and the drivers will be getting out onto the circuit very, very shortly. What predictions do I have? I think we're going to get a good qualifying lap from Fernando Alonso in the wet. He is fantastic, so that's what I'm predicting to happen. I think he's definitely going to make it through into Q3. But here we go now, folks. Here we go. We've got 8,000 people watching. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. It massively, massively helps out the channel. If you aren't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. Hopefully, by the end of today, we'll be on 115k. That would be epic. But yeah, this is it now. The timer is ticking down. We're on 20 seconds left on the timer, and the drivers will be making their way out of the pit lane very, very shortly. We're just waiting for the green message from race control, a green at the end of the pit lane, and there we go, green at the end of the pit lane, very nice, and we are underway, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Albon, the first driver out of the pits, and then we have Lando Norris behind him, and full wet tyres actually. The driver's actually going out on the full wets for the start. I said it would be intermediate conditions. It probably will be, but the drivers just at the start will clear up the standing water using the wets, and then they should switch on to intermediates. At least that's what I thought. Maybe the rain's got a bit more intense. However, I can't tell exactly. It all depends on... I can't tell because of the camera, really. The footage is slightly... you can't really make out the raindrops on the camera. You kind of just have to be there. But nonetheless, everyone's coming out on wet tyres, and we're going to have a great quali session. Let me know what your predictions are. Who do you think is going to get pole position? Who do you think is going to get knocked out at Q1? Let's wait and see. But the spray is enormous. I've got to say, enormous amounts of spray currently. And yeah, wow. All right, we've got Tsunoda making his way through the middle sector. Alex Albon will be his first driver to start a flying lap, but the circuits will be the track will be improving so much. The lap times at the start aren't really all that relevant. Okay, here we go then. Here we go. We've got wet qualifying taking place. I think did someone make a donation, or am I just being? Oh no, someone did. Andre, thank you very much for the donation. Thanks for these streams, very enjoyable. Glad that you enjoy them, and I hope to see you along for future live streams. Yeah. All right, here we are on board with Lando Norris. So he's taking the normal racing line. Oh, we've already got a yellow flag. Someone going slowly. That's Lawson, who has gone slowly. Double yellows are out, and is that going to be a red flag 4 minutes into the session? I don't know, but Lawson's probably... I don't know if he's beached the car or not. That depends. Double yellows at turn number 12. They can't see anything. There's a Piastri gets pinched. One of the drivers is giving Norris a bit of traffic. Verstappen's on the apex there of turn number 4, but Norris wasn't trying to hit the apex anyway, so it's fine. But still double yellows there for Lawson, and we haven't got any team radio messages from him as of now, I don't think. But I think Lawson has started moving again. Yeah, Lawson's got moving again, and the yellow flags are off, and the qualifying laps continue. Very nice. Okay, quickest first sector goes to Esteban Ocon. I mean, the quickest first sector is just going to go to whoever is going last, probably, because the conditions are improving at such a quick rate. But let's have a look at these lap times. Yeah, Max said you can't see anything. This is the thing. The reason why we didn't go racing yesterday, even though the wet tyres probably could have driven around, the visibility is so poor, and in these ground effect cars, there is so much spray that gets kicked up by the downforce. Like, all of the air moving sort of pushes all of the water into the sky and into the visibility of the other drivers, like just right in their face. And because of that, if they have no visibility, then it's far too dangerous to drive, really, especially when you're driving at 200 kilometers an hour. Ocon across the line goes Ocon. We are now on board with Charles Leclerc as he's on the helmet cam. This looks fantastic. And we've got another yellow flag. That's Guan Yu Zhou at the exact same place as Liam Lawson. He's made a mistake, and I think he's got going again as well. All right, yeah, turn number 12, very tricky corner. We saw Max Verstappen complaining about this. There is a bump on the braking zone of turn number 12. The car sort of bottoms out over the bump, and they lose all sort of grip as they go past there. And I think that's what happened to Lawson and Zhou. Both drivers went over the bump as they were on the brakes. The car bounced a bit, they lost all grip, and then they went straight on. Another double yellow. It's Stroll this time, but Stroll, I think he's just keeping on moving. I think he's just gone onto the grass there. Yeah, Stroll also manages to keep the car underway. And Alonso across the line, second place for him. Ocon with a really good lap there. Even Alonso in slightly better track conditions, unable to beat him. So a fantastic lap there from Ocon to start off the session. Hamilton across the line, sixth place for him. All of the drivers will now be exploring the circuit. They'll be getting a feel for which parts of the track are quick, which parts are not. And these laps are very much banker laps. And we'll see probably in the next five or so minutes, everyone start to really pick up the pace before they go... before we see the lap time starting to tumble. I mean, a lot of the drivers are saying that they're getting blocked, and I think fair enough. Oh, Stroll once again at turn number 4. All right. Norris said, a bit of aquaplaning down into turn number 4, otherwise not too bad, just low grip. And that makes sense. Turn number 4 is the lowest part of the circuit, and because of that, because it's the lowest part of the circuit, all of the water flows towards turn number 4. Everything from turn number 5, 6, it all flows downwards towards 4. Everything from turn number 3 flows downwards towards turn number 4. So we see quite a bit of standing water there, and Stroll went off there, probably because of the aquaplaning. And... drivers getting blocked left, right, and centre because the visibility is so bad that they can't see in their mirrors properly. Bottas is the first driver to come out on intermediate tyres. He's going to have a bit of an explore on the inters. He's got nothing to lose, really. The Sauber, there's probably not much chance of him making it through into Q2 anyway. So because the Sauber probably just doesn't have as much raw downforce as the rest of the other teams. So he might as well take a gamble, go out on the inters and see what he can do. But if drivers are aquaplaning on the wets into turn number 4, I can't imagine how the intermediate tyres are going to work that well either. Ocon has done a fantastic lap, and nobody is getting close. I mean, Alonso was a 10th on his previous attempt, but Ocon he improves in the middle sector, and maybe he'll go across and improve again. We've got another donation, Gregory Brake. Thank you for the donation there. Ocon goes across the line, improves once again, and he goes a 10th quicker than his previous time. He's quickest out of anyone. 3/10 quicker than Alonso. Fantastic lap there by Esteban Ocon. Leclerc, though, is on a purple first sector, and he looks to be getting very racy. I mean, Sainz is kind of in his way, but I'm sure Sainz will end up moving. Otherwise, Leclerc's lap is going to be severely compromised. I think it is. Leclerc gets compromised by his teammate and has to abort from his lap. Leclerc's aborted from his lap. He was purple in the first sector and ended up getting blocked by his teammate. The one driver... Oh, no, he didn't get blocked by his teammate. He got blocked by one of the Mercs. I've just seen the replay here. I think that was Russell. Yeah, Russell blocking Leclerc. Maybe that's a grid penalty coming his way. However, in such terrible visibility conditions, can you really blame the guy? We've got Valtteri Bottas 23.1 in the first sector. He goes slower in the middle sector. I don't think the intermediate tyres are the perfect tyres as of now. Maybe in the next 10 minutes, yes. So Bottas might continue out on the inters, but for now, Perez quickest in the first sector. Stroll, in fact, across the line, he goes 5th place. Piastri across the line, 11th place, and wow, Ocon is doing a fantastic job. Maybe McLaren should have used their 2018 Canal Boat car. Might have helped them in this wet quality. Yeah, I mean, if they put a rocket ship, then they'll be first. But if they put a rocket ship, they'll still be 11th. I don't know. It depends on the conditions. So yeah, if you get that reference, then very nice. All right, let's see what Paris can do. He comes across the line now. Purple in the first sector, green in the middle sector. Doesn't improve in the final sector. Probably got a little bit of a bad exit as he came out of turn number 12. And he goes a 10th behind Ocon. Tsunoda, what a lap. 7/10 of a second quicker. Fantastic final sector. And he puts himself up into first position. I think Tsunoda's the first driver to really nail turn number 12. Loads of drivers have been having issues at turn number 12 because of that bump exactly in the braking zone. And Tsunoda's done a fantastic job. Purple in the final sector, and he's 7/10 quicker. Wow. The track is drying up. The intermediate tyres will probably be the way to go forward. Oh, Colapinto at turn number 3. That's a pretty that's going to be a high speed incident. There we go. Red flag is out. And we've got 8 minutes left of the session, so the session will be restarted. But yeah, first red flag of quali, and Colapinto's into the barriers. It's just the front wing damaged and the front right suspension. But turn number 3, I think he just got a little bit close to the curb and the apex, and there is some standing water there, so he goes into the barriers. Ooh, a great lap from Leclerc as well, but he's still 6/10 back from Yuki Tsunoda. And folks, this could spell trouble here for the drivers in the bottom 5 places, because the rain is going to continue to fall in this red flag period, making the track conditions worse and worse. And that means in the final 8 minutes of qualifying, or the final 9 minutes of qualifying, the track conditions could be worse than they are at this current moment in time, meaning the drivers won't be able to improve, and Albon, Zhou, Russell, Bottas and Hamilton will be eliminated. I mean, how is Hamilton down in 20th position here? Hamilton is fantastic in the wet conditions, but somehow he has only set a lap time of a 1:40. I mean, that must be yellow flags and drivers and him getting blocked and things like that. I don't think Hamilton is 11 seconds off the pace. But yeah, this is a very, very real threat here for the drivers. Colapinto, as he was going through turn number 2, got a little bit of oversteer, and then he stepped maybe a centimeter, 10 centimeters off the racing line as he went through turn number 3, and that was enough to send him off into the barriers. So yeah, very unfortunate there for Colapinto. He will make it through into Q2. Well, okay, I'm not sure if he can make it through into Q2, depends on all of the lap times behind him, but this could spell really big trouble for Russell and Hamilton, because if the conditions get worse by the end of the red flag, then they could be out. The crash is not bad. It's only the front right suspension that is damaged and the front wing, so they will be able to repair it. They do have enough time to do that. The Red Bull mechanics have repaired the front right suspension in a matter of 15 minutes. So I'm sure the Williams mechanics will be able to get it done in the 3 hours that they have before the start of the race. Well, I think it's more than 3 hours. In fact, it's probably a little bit longer than that. But regardless, the Williams mechanics will be able to get it done. The red flag is because Colapinto crashed. Let me just stick that up on the screen. Colapinto crashed, hence red flag. All right. Oh, it's all in caps. Right, let me just fix that. In fact, there's probably no need to fix it. I can just keep it in caps because we're going to get a million questions anyway. I don't know, where should I put this on the screen? Let's just put it there. All right. Yeah, there are a couple of rivers running across the circuit, especially coming down the main straight. There's this big old river that just that is a bit of a hazard for the drivers, really. However, it is off the racing line, so the drivers should be more than fine to be able to avoid that. Blue sectors mean the drivers are just coming into the pits. So blue sectors in the third sector means that they're coming into the pits. Blue sectors in the first sector mean they're coming out of the pits. But if we look at the track dominance between Tsunoda and Leclerc, Tsunoda's quicker in the middle sector. He's quicker between turns number 7, 8, 9, 10. However, Tsunoda just got a fantastic final sector and a fantastic first sector as well. And he just gained so much time overall on Leclerc. It was quite wild, to be honest. How is Tsunoda on top? He had a fantastic turn number 12. I think all of the teams will be watching Tsunoda's replay, seeing which line that he took through turn number 12. Where did he hit the brakes? How did he avoid the bump? Or did he avoid the bump? Or what he did? And they'll be telling their drivers, oh yeah, do this when you go through turn number 12. It'll gain you 0.3 of a second or something like that. Yeah. Remy, oh hi, why is there a red flag? I ignored all the news notifications, the big text explaining it. Yeah, sometimes I do feel a little bit like that, but it's all right. We're gonna have a restart, folks. We've got a message from race control. Race is restarting in 2 minutes time. It's green flag conditions. They've picked up Franco Colapinto's car on the lorry, and it goes back into, and they go back into the pits. They go off the circuit. If you're looking at the radio messages here, it says it seems like increased rain. Heavier rain is expected to last for 1 to 2 minutes. The rain is increasing. It looks like drivers will not be able to improve. They've put wets back onto Valtteri Bottas's car. Bottas was previously out on intermediates, but they're out on wets now because the circuit has got the rain has got heavier, and because of that, it looks like Alex Albon, Guan Yu Zhou, Russell, Bottas and Hamilton will have no chance to improve. Their best shot at it will be to line up at the end of the pit lane immediately, go out as soon as the green light at the pit lane is shown, and then hope that the rain isn't too bad. But I've got to be honest here, the rain has got heavier, and in these sort of circumstances, we've had maybe 5 minutes of a delay. 5 minutes of extra standing water on the circuit is going to be difficult to overcome. So let's wait and see. All right, let me get rid of this text on the screen, and we should be underway for the final 8 minutes of qualifying in for Q1. Okay. Can someone tell me why quali is on a Sunday? Quali is on a Sunday because it got delayed yesterday. Yesterday there was so much heavy rain that they postponed the qualifying from yesterday to today. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We've got nearly 16,000 people watching. Hopefully we can hit 2,000 likes. That'd be incredible. You spelled Magnussen wrong. Yeah, I think I did. But I'll fix that later. And yeah. This is Spa 2023, I think, all over it. Now, I think you're referring to Spa 2021, but yeah, it is very similar to that. However, we are actually getting qualifying. We will probably have the race as well. The rain has got heavier, but it won't be heavy enough to stop the session. And in fact, there is a pretty big traffic jam in the pit lane. All of the drivers want to get out as soon as possible because they know the conditions are going to get worse and worse. And yeah, we're getting just messages now, 40 seconds to fire up, 30 seconds to fire up, and then they'll do the engine start. And yeah, all of the drivers now, the pit lane should be green in a matter of seconds. Here we go, folks. Here we go. What's term class 1 or class 2 in the pit lane? Class 1 and class 2, that refers to the intensity of rain. So I think as the bigger the number, the more intense the rain is. And I think essentially what they're saying is, it's going to reduce back to a class 1 or the class 2 intensity of rain by the time the pit lane is open. Yeah, they're pushing Oliver Behrman's car back into the pits. I don't know what they're doing that for. But yeah, the green light is shown at the end of the pit lane. The timer is ticking. Pierre Gasly, the first driver to leave the pits. Very nicely done. All right, here we go then. 8 minutes and 30 seconds remain. All of the drivers will be coming out on wet tyres. Everyone knows that intermediate tyres are not the way forward as of now. Maybe in Q2, maybe in Q3, if there aren't too many red flags in between. However, yeah, 8 minutes left of this session, and it's going to be very difficult for the drivers in the bottom 5 to improve. Behrman might just be able to scrape through because the track conditions have got worse, and he'll get through into Q2, and so will Lawson. That would be fantastic for them. The data is stuck. No, the data isn't stuck. The drivers just aren't on the circuit. Yeah. Colapinto crashed? Yeah, Colapinto did crash, and that is why he is out of the session. Yeah, won't be able to take part. I don't think they'll have enough time to bring the car back into the pits. Actually, They could get the car back to the pits in between Q1 and Q2. However, repairing the front left suspension or the front right suspension in the 15 minutes that they have will probably be a little bit impossible. Yeah, everyone gave me what happened till now. I'm late. Not that much really. We've had rain, and Tsunoda set a fantastic lap by going super quick in the final sector. And the Mercs are at risk of being eliminated. Yeah. George Russell has taken an initiative here, and he's just driven past everyone in the pit lane. Because he knows that if he does not get on with it, he's going to be out of Q1. And he's just gone for the move. He's overtook everyone while driving through the pit lane because he knows that the conditions are getting worse and worse. Every single second that he wastes is a second that the conditions get worse, and the risk of him getting knocked out is even higher. So here we go. We've got the drivers now exiting the pit lane. We've got a couple more drivers in the pits. Alonso and Stroll are still in the pits. I think they're just not even going to risk it. They know the conditions are worse, and they know that they're also safe, so they might as well just sit in the pits. However, there is also in fact, I don't think they're going to sit in the pits. I think they're just coming out now. And they are going to just try and get some experience on the circuit. It's very important for the drivers to get a feel for which part of the circuit is quick, which parts isn't, so they know what they can do on their quali laps, how much they can press the throttle, how quickly they can press the throttle, and all of these things. So yeah, we're on board here with Piastri, and he's 3/10 down on Tsunoda in the first sector alone. So that's track conditions getting worse, but it was also Tsunoda just being super, super quick. How much standing water on the circuit? I think there's standing water at turn number 4. There's some standing water down the main straight. However, everywhere else, there isn't that much standing water. Maybe on the apexes, on the very corners of the apex, very edges of the apex, there is some standing water, but the drivers are very easily able to avoid that. Hamilton, in fact, is improving here. Hamilton goes 3/10 quicker than Behrman's first sector time. So maybe the drivers are, in fact, able to improve. Hamilton's improved. Russell hasn't. It just depends, I guess, on how good your lap is so far. Piastri improves in the middle sector. He's still half a second down on Tsunoda, but nonetheless, he is improving. And this may just be enough for Russell and Hamilton to make it through into Q2, but it is going to be tight. Here they go. And then Oscar Piastri now comes across the start-finish line. Bottas improves. He's up into 16th. Piastri improves. He's up into 5th. Okay, so the Mercedes aren't knocked out just as of yet. There are 4 minutes left of the session. So, yeah, everyone's got to get a move on. Sainz across the line now. He is, I think, starting a flying lap. Yeah, Sainz will start a flying lap now. And Charles Leclerc is also coming across the line. He is also going to start a flying lap. Very nice. Alonso coming across the line. He's giving Hamilton a bit of a tow. Oh no, Hamilton gets a tow off Alonso, sorry. And Hamilton across the line. Only 14th place for him. That is still at risk of being eliminated here. If someone behind him sets a better lap, then Hamilton could be in trouble. He has still got 4 minutes left of the session to improve. Albon improves up into 7th place. Fantastic lap from Albon. Verstappen's purple in the middle sector. Verstappen, in his second year of Formula 1 in 2016, he delivered a amazing performance in Brazil in very, very similar conditions. He's now purple in the middle sector, making his way down the main straight, and we'll see what he can do. George Russell went super deep into turn number 1, and that is why he aborted his lap and ended up starting another lap afterwards. And he's still down in 20th place. All right, Verstappen, he came across the line, and he didn't improve, in fact. He was purple in the middle sector, but his final sector was very, very slow. So, yeah, I think Verstappen's still having issues at turn number 12, like many, many drivers are. According to the data, it indicates that the final half of the track, so the second half of the track, is intermediate conditions. The first half of the track, however, is very much wet conditions, especially down towards turn number 4. Turn number 1, 2, and 3 as well. Very, very wet. So some drivers may take a gamble, go onto the intermediate tyres, but with only 3 minutes left of the session, I think it's best to just stick it out on the wets. Right, here we go then. The drivers currently in the elimination zone are Bottas, Lawson, Behrman, Zhou, and Russell. Russell, though, green in the first and second sectors. He comes out of turn number 12. He's going to get a bit of a toe off Stroll, and let's see what he can do. Gemma Lund, do you think Mercedes have got a chance of scoring a good chance of scoring points in an actual race later? Oh, we've got yellow flags out. That's Hulkenberg going slowly at turn number 12. I hope Lando will win the race. I think Mercedes can definitely score some points, but the car doesn't look that drivable. Hamilton not doing that well in wet conditions is a bit of a surprise. George Russell, he came across the line. He was in second place after his lap, so maybe Russell will score some points. Hamilton, however, has had a very, very bad weekend. Very bad in sprint qualifying, and he said himself the sprint race was one of the worst races that he's ever had. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Hamilton. Ocon comes across the line. He goes ahead of Russell. Ocon and Tsunoda are putting together fantastic laps. Verstappen gets a lap time deleted because there were double yellows at turn number 12 when he was on his lap. Nico Hulkenberg just went straight on at 12, tried to carry too much speed onto the grass, and double yellows caused the marshals put out a double yellow. Verstappen drove through the double yellows and hence got his lap time deleted. We've got 21,000 people tuned into live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying. And we have got a fantastic qualifying session. Hamilton is in the elimination zone as of now. He is on a flying lap. He comes out of turn number 12. It's looking good for him so far. However, will it be enough to get ahead and out of the elimination zone? Norris as well, in 14th. He's at risk of being eliminated. This is vital for his championship that he gets up into Q3 and probably up into first place. Hamilton across the line, not enough to improve. This is his final lap. There's 1 minute left. He's got to go for a double flying lap, which is not going to be optimal for his battery, but he's got no other choice. Otherwise, Hamilton out of Q1 in wet qualifying. That is probably the biggest surprise of the entire weekend. We've got Lando Norris, who is coming out of the final corner now. He'll make it across the start-finish line and start a final flying lap. There are 39 seconds left on the clock. And Verstappen also, he's got to put together a good lap, otherwise he is potentially at risk if Lawson and Behrman and Bottas hook together some good laps. Yeah, wow. All right, this is it. Final lap for Perez, final lap for, Verstappen should make it across the line. There's 16 seconds. I'm not sure. It might be close, but let's wait and see. Bottas across the line, 13th place for him. Norris in 15th place as of now. His first sector was not that much of an improvement, and he is very, very close to being eliminated. Both British drivers, both renowned for being fantastic in wet conditions. Here comes Hamilton now out of the turn number 12. He's currently in 17th place. Charles Leclerc comes into the pits. He's very safe in this qualifying session. Hamilton, though, is at risk. Can he make it through into Q2? He's in 14th place, very, very borderline. He pushes Lando Norris out into the elimination zone. Norris is driving through the middle sector now, but it does not look that quick, to be honest. And this could spell trouble for Lando Norris and for his championship battles. Hamilton's come over the radio saying, "This damn car, man." Hamilton just does not feel in control. Albon across the line, and he goes a 10th quicker than Tsunoda. Sensational lap from Alex Albon. Wow, fantastic. Ocon purple through the first sector. We could see something special from him as well. Ocon, Tsunoda, and Gasly as well is doing fantastic. Both Alpines are doing brilliantly so far. Norris into 15th place. He improves on his lap, but Lawson improves, pushing him into 15th. Hamilton is out of Q1. He is across the line at 16th place for him. Is there anyone left? There's Hulkenberg and Zhou. Zhou now coming across the line. Is it enough for Zhou to improve? Unfortunately not. And Hulkenberg, I think, has already set his lap time. Verstappen, 0.5 of a second, half a second quicker than the competition. Fantastic lap. And this is why he is world champion. Great lap by Verstappen. He's done it in 2016. He does it again. Lewis Hamilton, however, is eliminated. And Lando Norris, by the finest of margins, by 0.2 of a second, scrapes himself through into Q2. Ooh, this was a very, very close qualifying session. Wow. I mean, how is Albon and Ocon, how are these drivers putting together such fantastic laps? Normally, we don't see these drivers, we don't think of them as amazing in wet conditions. George Russell, I can expect he grew up in the UK where it rains constantly. Like, there's never a week that goes by where it doesn't rain. And George Russell, that explains why he's so good in wet conditions. But Albon and Ocon and Tsunoda, like, these drivers aren't renowned or anything like, oh, they're great in wet conditions, but still, they're hooking together fantastic laps. And let's wait and see what happens in Q2, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think will happen? Oh, Gemma Lund, another £10 donation. If you donated the exact same, the exact same message. You hope Lando can win the race today. Well, Lando's in 15th place in qualifying. And he's did that on 6-lap old wets. Like, Lando, after the red flag, came out on a fresh set of wet tyres. If you look at everyone in the top 7, everyone set their laps on used wet tyres. So I don't know, maybe the used wets are slightly quicker than the fresh wets depending on the conditions, but no, I would expect the fresh wets to be ever so slightly quicker. And interesting. We'll see if Lando wins. I'm sure the Lando fans are very much hoping for that, but Verstappen half a second quicker than the competition, and Lando Norris down in 15th does not bode well, to say the least. Okay, wow. What are your predictions for Q2? Who is going to get eliminated in Q2? Will it be, who's it going to be? Is it going to be the rookies? Is it going to be Alonso? Will it be Norris? I don't know. Perez made it through into Q2. Hamilton, unfortunately, though, has had a terrible weekend. A weekend to forget for Hamilton, I think. Yeah. All right. Maybe Yuki Tsunoda, gets pole position. Who knows what will happen? All right. Piastri might be out of Q2, maybe. Yeah, Piastri. Piastri's quicker than Norris for now, but I don't know. Piastri did get a lap time deleted, I think. Oh no, Piastri, he got a lap time deleted when he was coming out of the pits. I don't think that matters too much. Yeah, quite a few drivers. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Q2 begins in 2 minutes' time. We've just got a message from race control, so 2 minutes, and we get underway for Q2. I think someone's just asked, is the forecast for the rain tomorrow? Well, yeah, there is also rain forecast for tomorrow. However, the race is today. I think normally everyone's in qualifying mode and they're like, oh yeah, the race is tomorrow. But in fact, no, qualifying is happening in a couple of hours' time, just after this session ends. So let's wait and see. Where's K-Mag fans when you need them? Indeed, K-Mag's not driving. It's Oliver Behrman driving instead. Unfortunately, Hulkenberg got knocked out of Q1 because, Hulkenberg, this is I said this statistic earlier, but there weren't as many people watching. Every single time there has been a qualifying on a Sunday, a German driver has gone through and scored pole position. 2 times it was Michael Schumacher, 2 times it was Sebastian Vettel, and 1 time it was Nico Rosberg. And that streak has unfortunately been broken as Nico Hulkenberg, the only German driver on the grid, is eliminated out of Q1. Right. Oh, wow. We've hit 2,000 likes. Fantastic, folks. Thank you, everyone, for hitting the like button. I'm just going to knock that up to 4,000. This would be a record if we hit it in quali. 4,000 likes. And that would be very, very exciting. All right. I think maybe towards the end of Q2, we could expect some intermediate tyres. In fact, look at this message to Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki, we don't expect too much more rain. We'll go out and work the fronts and be careful on the rear. So if the teams aren't expecting too much more rain, then I suspect by the end of Q2, maybe the start of Q3, the drivers will switch onto the intermediate tyres. And yeah, we're going to get a lot more exciting qualifying laps. Q2 should be underway, in fact, right now. Q2 will be underway, in fact, in a matter of seconds. The drivers are already queued up at the end of the pit lane, and they're getting the engine start is 30 seconds away. So here we go. Alright, also folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Hopefully we can hit 115k by the end of today. We've got, of course, the rest of quali and then the rest of the race as well. 71 laps of racing around Sao Paulo in these wet conditions. It's going to be incredible. Yeah, incredible. Okie dokes. Wow. Yeah. There's not much more else to say. The green should be coming around in about 5 to 10 seconds, and everyone will be racing shortly. There we go. Science, the first driver out into the pits. Fantastic job. Then we have Charles Leclerc. The two Ferrari duos leading the way from the front. Then we have Yuki Tsunoda coming out behind them. Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, do let me know what you think is going to happen. Who do you think will get pole position? Who do you think is going to get eliminated in Q2 for now, and then we'll find out who gets pole position later on. But the Q2 session is underway. We're already 40 seconds in. Malaya, thank you for the €2 donation. Bottas in that car in Q2 so many times, plus no seat in 2025. Yes, it's a very, very big disappointment. Bottas is a fantastic driver, definitely does deserve a seat in Formula One. However, with being such an experienced driver, I think the pain point for Sauber and for Audi is that he will take a pretty big chunk of money away from them. Like he'll ask for a fairly big salary, and they don't have to pay a rookie that much. I think Yuki Tsunoda in his rookie season was only paid 250k. While that is a lot of money, when the other drivers are earning on the order of millions, it is quite a big money saving for the team, and they can spend that on engineers and new parts and upgrades and things like that. So unfortunately, I think that's the main reason for Bottas not keeping that seat. They've already got an experienced driver in the form of Nico Hülkenberg, so I guess they're thinking, oh, we don't need two experienced drivers. We can have a rookie and we can have an experienced driver, and that should be enough. Okay. Here we go then. Carlos Sainz is leading the way, and everyone else is out of the pits very, very shortly. So let's keep on board with Carlos Sainz. He sticks right to the inside of the apex at turn number 3. It gets a little twitch to the car as well, but his foot is flat to the floor for Carlos Sainz, and he is now accelerating away into turn number 4. There's a driver ahead of him that is on the racing line. They need to get out of the way as soon as possible, and here they go. Sainz now through the middle sector. There is copious amounts of spray flying off the rear of that Ferrari, but Carlos Sainz with full commitment as he goes through the middle sector there, trying to stay away from the white line. The white lines get extremely slippery in these wet conditions, but he is driving over the curbs. The curbs sometimes provide the extra rotation that you need to get that car hooked around the apex and accelerating out as soon as possible. We're seeing Sainz here not even hit full throttle as he's driving through the middle sector. He has to be so careful on the throttle. With these Formula One cars, have got 1,000 horsepower at your fingertips or at your feet essentially, and Carlos Sainz being ever so sensitive as he goes through the middle sector. He goes through turn number 12 very well, but it takes a while, and then get bits of oversteer as he exits turn number 12. That's not a great exit for Sainz. And I don't expect that'll be setting the timing sheets alight. Charles Leclerc, in fact, he's quicker in the first sector, slightly slower in the middle sector, but Sainz across the line are 129.4, and we'll see what Charles Leclerc can do behind him. Okay. All right, fresh wet tyres. Piastri's here on the Inters. Ooh, interesting here. Piastri's on the Inters. Charles Leclerc are 129.3, quicker in the final sector. Nicely done by Charles Leclerc. But Piastri now, we've got to keep eyes out on Piastri. How well will he do in these conditions? Is it time to switch over to the intermediates? Are they quicker? So the quickest first sector we've got so far is a 22.2 from Perez. Piastri does a 22.7. He's 4/10 slower in the first sector. However, we'll wait and see what happens in the middle sector when the circuit gets a little bit more dry compared to the first sector. Stroll across the line, first place for Stroll. We've seen Stroll get pole position in wet conditions before, but Bottas goes even quicker. Fantastic lap from Bottas, and he's 2.5 tenths quicker than Stroll. Stroll has got his one and only pole in wet conditions in Turkey, I think in 2020 in the Racing Point that was dubbed the Pink Mercedes. Alonso across the line, he goes 3 tenths quicker than Bottas. Fantastic job, but Perez purple in the first and the second sector, and he's half a second quicker than Alonso. Let's wait and see what Verstappen can do as he's on a flying lap as well. Piastri, though, still improving, and a purple middle, and he's got one purple mini sector as well to his name. So the intermediate tyres aren't that bad. Norris across the line, 8th place for Norris. He's only quicker than Lawson, Albon, and Ocon. So Norris has really got to pick up the pace here. Verstappen purple in the middle sector. He exits turn number 12, gets a good exit there. Piastri across the line, third place for him on the intermediate tyres. Is that the right choice? Do you want to switch on to the inters? The track conditions are going to get better and better, and maybe that's the right choice. Verstappen, though, across the line, 0.4 of a second quicker than his teammate. They come over the radio to Norris, say, box for intermediates. They think the intermediate tyres are the way forward. And look at that purple first sector from Piastri. Maybe it is. With 15 Formula 1 cars driving around the circuit, they are fantastic vacuum cleaners for water, and they just spray the water everywhere except the circuit. The track is rapidly drying, and intermediate tyres may be the way forward. All right, Piastri purple in the first sector. Let's see what his middle sector's like. He's got Gasly. Gasly was a little bit of traffic, but he got out of the way nicely. And maybe Piastri will get a little bit of a tow from his teammate as well. That will certainly help him out. So the top three are Verstappen, Perez, Alonso, and then Piastri, then Bottas in fifth. Fantastic job. According to AWS or the TV feed, it says that the entire track is now intermediate conditions. I don't know how much to believe that, but I believe the lap times when I see them, and Piastri is 0.4 up on Max Verstappen through the middle sector. I think everyone now is coming into the pits to switch onto a set of inters because the track is definitely headed in that direction. Here comes Oscar Piastri. He goes 0.6 ahead of the competition, and it is very, very clear to see intermediate tyres are the choice, are the optimal choice now. We have Lando Norris coming out the pits now with a set of inters, and we'll have everyone else coming out on the inters as well. Oh wow, Ricardo is that Ricardo Pompey? I can't see your full name, in fact, but thank you, Ricardo, for the donation. Very much is appreciated. $50. Wow, thank you so much. We've got a yellow flag on the circuit. That's George Russell. He manages to spin the car around and keep it going. So we're not going to have a red flag, but yeah, a little mistake there from George Russell. And very, very, very big thank you there for the $50 donation, Ricardo. Hugely appreciated. I mean, I, of course, disable adverts. So for any of you guys that don't know, adverts aren't playing on this live stream. If you watch the live stream after it's finished, you may get adverts, but while the live stream's going, you're not getting any adverts, and that's because I've blocked them from YouTube's side. So yeah, the donations and the financial support really helps out. Piastri, look at that purple in every single mini sector in sector number 2. He's purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector. He comes through the third sector now. He's got a toe off Valtteri Bottas. He's purple in all 3 sectors, 2.5 seconds quicker than the competition. What a lap by Piastri. I mean, his intermediate tyres have definitely warmed up, and they're correctly in the correct window now. However, his first lap, they probably weren't in the correct temperature range, but 2.5 seconds from Oscar Piastri, simply sensational. And here comes Lance Stroll. He's purple in the first sector. He's only got 1 pole position to his name, and he got it in intermediate conditions exactly like this on a day in Istanbul in 2020. 4 years later, let's wait and see what Lance Stroll can do. Wow. That was an astonishing lap by Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris is going to be very, very difficult for Norris to match that. Norris now coming across the start-finish line, his flying lap. Let's wait and see what he can do. Here comes Max Verstappen, currently in second place. He's now coming out the final corner to start a flying lap as well. Oh, we've got double yellows at turn number 2. Double yellows, turn number 2. Sainz going slowly. That's going to ruin Verstappen's lap. And I think Sainz may have had a bit of an issue at turn number 3. Turn number 2, Russell across the line, second place for him. He's still a second off the pace from Piastri. The tyres have really got to get up into the correct ranges. Sainz into the barriers. It's yellow flags. They're going to have to call out the red flag for this. This is a huge crash for Carlos Sainz. Very, very similar to what happened to Colapinto. But this time, instead of the front of the car being damaged, the rear of the car has been damaged. Sainz is into the barriers. The red flag is out. And he is just shaking his head with his head in his hands. And he's just saying, how have I done this? And Wow, wow. Sainz is out. The rear wing's damaged. He's not going to be able to take part in Q3. They will be able to repair the car for the race. Hopefully, there's no gearbox damage and there's no engine damage. Gemma Lund, thank you for the second donation of the stream, the third donation of the stream, in fact. Very much is appreciated. But Carlos Sainz, we've just got the replay here. He goes into turn number 1, misses the apex ever so slightly, but it's fine in wet conditions, and then gets a huge snap of oversteer as he goes towards turn number 2, and then immediately into the barriers he goes. The wheels lock, and he just slides into the barriers with absolutely zero control of his car. Ooh. Yeah. All right. The red flag is out. The driver's back into the pits. Stroll was on a fantastic lap, even though he came across the line, in fact, before the red flag got deployed, and it's third place for Stroll. Yeah, brilliant job. Okay, if we look at the elimination zone here, we have got Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Esteban Ocon. All 4 of those drivers in the bottom 4 drivers were doing fantastically in Q1. They were about to do fantastically as well in Q2. They just hadn't set their complete lap times yet, but the red flag's out. That's ruined their laps, and they're going to have to do the entire warm-up procedure again. Yeah, they have lost some temperature, and this is the thing. The intermediate tires take a little bit of time to warm up into the correct window, because the wet tires, they're designed to operate at a very low temperature, whereas the intermediate tires are designed to operate at a slightly higher temperature. So you need maybe 1 warm-up lap, 2 warm-up laps before you can really attack on them. So that's why Piastri's second lap was just so much quicker, and yeah, why Stroll and why Russell still couldn't get anywhere close to Piastri, and that's just mainly because of the fact that their tyres weren't in the correct operating range. Yeah, I mean, look at this. We've got a message from Lance Stroll. I need video feedback on turn 4. So he's come over the radio saying at turn number 4, the inters aren't working properly. I need to see what Piastri has done, and I'm going to copy him exactly. So yeah, all of the engineers will be now looking at the onboards. They'll be analysing, where does Piastri brake? Where does he start to turn in? Does he miss the apex? Does he go over the white line? And they'll be conveying all of this information to their drivers over the radio. And Carlos Sainz is out of the car. The rear wing is severely damaged, but yeah, they should have a spare for that, the Ferrari team, and now they're picking up the car on the crane, and we should be good to go in a matter of 10 minutes or so. There is no more rain there is some rain forecast, but it's getting less and less intense. For now, maybe we'll have more rain for the race, but for now there's a little bit of a lull and it's not a cancellation of rain, but the rain has stopped falling. For probably in 15 minutes time, we'll probably have no rain. So yeah. Let's wait and see now. Let's wait and see what happens. If Q2 ends, does that mean Lando goes through? No. If Q2 ends like this, then Lando will be eliminated. However, Q2 will not end like this. Given that there's 5 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock, the FIA will restart the session. Say if there was only 50 seconds left on the clock, the FIA would not restart the session, would go directly into Q3. But because there is 5 minutes and 50 seconds left, we will have the rest of Q2. We have a red flag because Sainz crashed. Let's stick that up on the screen. Before it was Colapinto crashed, now it's Sainz. There we go. Right, Sainz crashed, hence red flag. Won't the McLarens be slower as they did not get to practice with their new rear wing? No, the McLarens won't have that big of a difference. I mean, both McLarens are using the high downforce rear wing. So this is the reason McLaren may actually be slower we've got the message from race control. Session restarting in 2 minutes time, folks. 2 minutes and we'll be underway. 2 or 3 minutes, depending on how well your times are synced up. Oh, yeah, no, it's actually 3 minutes. But, 3 minutes. The drivers will be making their way out of the pits immediately to go out. Jensen Tayo, I mean, he's spamming the message, oh, do you think Lando will get out the drop zone? I mean, I have no idea if Lando will. If he has enough time to warm up his intermediate tyres, then sure. But if everyone else can set good laps as well, then maybe Lando's out. I don't know. Like, right. Stuffy's live is more updated than yours, lag of 14 seconds. I mean, 14 seconds is really not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. And the reason I have to have more of a delay than Stuffy is because I've got way more people watching, and if I don't have the delay, then YouTube servers tend to crash or start to lag terribly, so you guys get buffering. So I have to have more of a delay because there are significantly more people watching. Apologies for that, but that's just the way the YouTube system works. All right. Perez has said, oh, we should have stayed in the garage. We're more or less the last car here. Perez is the last car in the queue, and they've got 2 minutes till the pit lane opens now. The track is now clear. The red flag has been taken away. The crane has lifted the car off onto the edge of the circuit, and yeah. Nice sneak diss, yeah, no, yeah. I guess a small diss there, but no, I think Stuffy's commentary is pretty good as well. But yeah, I have to have the extra delay because I mean, if I'm talking here, 15 seconds later, my voice is transported to all of the YouTube servers across the world, and then it gets processed, and then it gets sent out to your computers or phones or TVs or whatever. So yeah. The race starts today. Yeah, the race will be starting today, folks. If I'm sure many of you are used to saying, "Oh, the race is the day after qualifying," but no, qualifying has been delayed. Has been postponed yesterday to today, and we'll have the race in a couple of hours. Verstappen has a 5-place grid penalty for taking a new internal combustion engine, so even if he qualifies on pole position, he will start the race in 6th place. Yeah, it's a bit of a handicap there for Verstappen, but he's taking a new internal combustion engine just to make sure if there aren't any issues towards the end of the season. F1 Gamer, can we take a moment how Bottas has dragged that Sauber into Q2? Yeah, a sensational job by Bottas, I've got to say. He did it last weekend. He brought the Sauber into Q2. He's done it again this weekend in wet conditions. The drivers play a huge role, and Valtteri Bottas done sensationally so far. All right. Oh yeah, Carlos has to fix the car in only a couple of hours. Yeah, they will get the car fixed. They will have to double check the gearbox and the engine because that's located at the rear of the car, obviously. And there is a potential risk that because he crashed like rearwards first, like he crashed the rear of the car first, there could be some vibration or shock damage to the engine because of the impact. However, yeah, they'll check it. They'll start the engine, check all the sensors. If everything seems all right, then yeah, it'll be okay. Yeah. When is the race start? The race start, let me have a look. The race should be starting in ooh. Let me work this one out. In 4 hours time, 4 hours and 10 minutes, and the race will be underway. So yeah. Oh, we've got another donation, Lavish Batia. Thank you for the 5 AED. I'm not sure which currency that is, but thank you for the donation. Very much helps out the channel. And the green light is out. The drivers are exiting the pit lane, and we're about to get the final qualifying laps of Q2 with 4 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. That gives enough time for the drivers to do one hot lap, one cool down lap, and then one more hot lap. So 2 laps from all of the drivers. This is it to make it through into the final top 10 shootout. Oh, AED is Arabian Emirates Dirham. Okay, Dubai. Very nice. Well, thank you for the donation, buddy. I'm already sleeping. I can't be absent tomorrow after a long vacation break. Yeah. Well, No, you've got to stay. You've got to stay and watch the quali. This is gonna be sensational. So everyone's now underway on their flying laps. Lando Norris improves in the first sector. He's 4.5 seconds off the pace, to be fair. So he's definitely should be improving. And the question is, will it be enough to improve and get ahead of his teammate? That's going to be a very, very tall order for Lando Norris. But let's wait and see what happens. Track conditions will have got slightly worse. I think the rain ever so slightly continued falling during the red flag period, so there will be slightly more standing water on the circuit, but it should be cleared up in a matter of laps. Really, the drivers should be fine for that. Oh, they've got a message to Perez. 3 sustainable laps. So the way that they fueled the car for Perez is that they're going to do 3 hot laps, I think. 3 hot laps in a row. Maybe they're going to do sort of 2 warm-up laps or 1 hot lap and then sort of 1 medium-speed lap and then another hot lap because they do have to recharge the battery. The battery does not have enough power to go for 3 full hot laps in a row. However, they may be able to... stretch it out if they do a middle, like a kind of half recharge in the middle, just to maintain the tyre temperature. That is the biggest issue. Norris comes across the line. He's 1.2 seconds off the pace of Piastri, and I think on the next lap, when his tyres are in the correct window, he should be much better suited to set a quick lap. All right, I don't know why it says question marks for the tyres. I think there's a little bit of a couple of mistakes here and there in the data, and that's why it's just said question marks for everyone. But I can assure you it's intermediate tyres for everyone. Karina Payton has just become a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you very much. Is it... Oh, wait, let me just read that again. Yeah, Katerina, thank you very much for being a Patreon. Very much helps out the channel. Yeah, thank you. Oh wow, what a lap by Alonso. This is on this isn't warmed up intermediate tyres. These are just cold tyres out the pits, and Alonso goes a 10th quicker than Piastri. A sensational lap from the Spanish legend Fernando Alonso. And we've got Ocon in 3rd place and Stroll, Alonso's teammate, in 5th, 1.2 seconds behind. Albon purple in the middle sector, but we've got a yellow flag. Who's that? Stroll. Oh no, another yellow flag at the exact same part where Colapinto crashed. Is that a crash for Stroll? Is that going to be a yellow flag? Norris across the line. It's a 1:24.8 for Norris. He goes 0.2 quicker than Alonso. Sensational lap from Norris as well. The yellow flag is still out for Stroll, and I haven't got a TV shot of what's gone on with Stroll. Is he moving again? Yes, he is moving very, very slowly. I think he should be fine. Albon across the line, 4th place for him. Lawson up into 4th. The elimination zone has got Verstappen and Perez with 59 seconds left on the clock. This is now or never for these drivers. If they do not improve, they are eliminated out of Q2. The session will not restart. I think Stroll's going to continue on. He's got back onto the track. He's now... Why have they called the red flag? Stroll's moving again. What? Verstappen is annoyed. He's punched the steering wheel and the red flag is out, and it's because Stroll is... has Stroll crashed after he fixed his mistake? Oh, Stroll's damaged his front wing, he's damaged his rear wing. A huge crash for Stroll. Heartbreak for Verstappen. Verstappen, Perez, Sainz are all eliminated out of Q2. Session will not be resumed as there are only 40 seconds left. And... oh, no. And, that is... heartbreak for Verstappen, isn't it? They're not going to be happy with that. We've got the replay here of Lance Stroll. He goes through turn number 1, turn number 2, gets onto the power for turn number 3, but he's a little too much to the right of the racing line, gets onto the water, spins around, and into the barriers he goes. I think he tries to get the engine going again and start moving, but... yeah, the engine was, I guess, too far gone, or something wasn't restarting, and they've called out a yellow flag, the red flag. Verstappen eliminated out of Q2. Oh, no. And with a 5-place grid penalty, Verstappen's going to be starting the race in 17th place. I can understand why he's visibly annoyed. He seems so frustrated, so angry. He's still sat in the car, and he's giving someone a death stare. I don't know who he's giving a death stare. He's probably just watching the onboard of Stroll and wants to, punch Stroll like he did to Ocon in 2018. But... Verstappen in 12th. I mean, what a turn of events. We were in Q1. We were seeing Norris was about to get eliminated, and And now in Q2, Verstappen has been eliminated because of a red flag. Wow. This is yeah, wow. I mean, see, okay, a lot of people here are going to be saying, oh, it's rigged or whatever. And I would just like to remind you, a couple of years ago, the FIA was short for Ferrari International Assistance. And then a couple of years later, it was called Mafia for Mercedes. And then there was the whole 2021 Abu Dhabi thing. And then last weekend in the US Grand Prix, Verstappen was slightly, the FIA preferred what Verstappen did and they gave Norris a penalty. The FIA are never consistent. It's not really been rigged. The virtual safety car on yesterday was just a huge mistake because, in fact, the reason for why it took so long for the virtual safety car to come out yesterday, I'm not saying it's a valid reason, but I'm saying the way that the system works is the marshals speak Portuguese, right? In Brazil, they'll speak Portuguese, and they'll be communicating to someone who is a translator, and then the translator converts that and talks to the race director, and then the race director has to get confirmation. He's got to ask a bunch of questions to the marshals, but because of the communication lag and the translation lag, it took them ages to find out what was actually going on with Hulkenberg's car, and because of that, it took them a whole 2 minutes before the virtual safety car came out. It was a very similar situation in Baku. Both Sainz and Perez had crashed immediately into the barriers, and it was so obvious that it needed to be a safety car, but the race director had to talk to the marshals, and the marshals had to convey the information. It had to be translated to the race director, and then he could make the decision to deploy the virtual safety car or the safety car. So, yeah. We've lost Bottas as well, unfortunately. Bottas, who could have probably made it through into Q3. We lose Sainz. Of course, Sainz had a crash, so, I mean, he was never going to make it through. And Gasly as well. Both Red Bulls eliminated. Wow. Okay. FIAW. I mean, I don't know. This is a very controversial topic. I'm just explaining what goes on. Like, I'm not saying that it's correct that the race director has to get stuff translated to him. Maybe they should get marshals, pay the marshals actual money rather than them being volunteers, and make sure that they speak English well enough to communicate. Oh, there's been a crash. We need a safety car right now. But yeah. Things have not worked out too well for Max Verstappen, and what can you do? I mean, to be fair, it was a red flag. Like, there was no way that shouldn't have been a red flag. But some people would say, oh, the red flag was in like, the issue was at turn number 3, so they were just letting everyone complete the laps. I mean, was it Norris? Did Norris cross the line when Stroll had crashed, or like did they deploy the red flag too late? I think, is that what people are complaining about? I don't know. Yeah, because I can't replay the data, unfortunately. I can't go back and see what was happening, but I'm sure some of you, like, watching the live stream, you can click back. So if some of you could click back and just check if there was the yellow flags deployed when Norris came across the line. I think Norris came across the line before Stroll crashed, but I'm sure there will be a lot of people complaining about that, saying the red flag should have been immediately deployed, and Norris should have never came across the line. Yeah. Maybe we should get Fernando Alonso to be president of the FIA. Maximum penalties for everyone, and equal engines as well. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Q2 will not be resumed. They will have picked up. Carlos Sainz's. Oh, they would have picked up Lance Stroll's car. Sorry. And into Q3 we will go with the top 10 drivers. I mean, Stroll won't be taking part. His car's far too damaged. But yeah, we'll have 9 drivers in. Yeah, very, very exciting. This is Yeah, I mean, I just love the controversy here. I mean, I'm not too bothered if Norris wins or Verstappen wins, but the controversy is going to be fantastic. I mean, it'll be fantastic to see Verstappen make his way through the field. He'll be starting in 17th place. It will be a driver champion if he can start in 17th place, make his way through the field in these wet conditions, and then end up on the podium. That would be incredible. We saw Seb Vettel do it, 2019 Germany. Was it 2019 or 2020? But it was in Germany in 2019, I think. Or yeah, 2019. Full wet conditions. He started in 20th place at his home race, managed to go all the way from 20th up into second place. So yeah, if Verstappen can do something like that, that would be brilliant. Yeah, 2019. So yeah, I think so. How long until Q3? We have got no official message from Race Control. The rain is continuing to fall. Oh, we've got another donation here. Oh, thank you for the donation, Chitsuhan. And Q3 prediction: first position George, second Alonso, second Norris, third Alonso, fourth Piastri, fifth Leclerc, sixth Tsunoda, seventh Lawson, eighth Ocon, ninth Albon, and 10th Stroll. Well, I mean, I can tell you for certain Stroll will be 10th. However, I mean, those are pretty good predictions, to be fair. I think Leclerc, though, might be able to put together something special. We've just got a message from Race Control saying the start of Q3 will be delayed. They haven't said specifically when it's going to start, but they have said that it will be delayed. All right. When does the race start? The race starts in 3 hours and in 4 hours. Sorry, 4 hours. Yeah. In fact, you know what I'm going to do, folks? I'm just going to turn on slow mode on the chat, so we don't have I think we have far too many chat messages coming through. A lot of people spamming, so I shall turn on slow mode and see if that helps. All right. But yeah, you can send a message every 10 seconds, so it's not really going to matter too much. It's just that there won't be people ridiculously spamming all the time. All right, Q2 will start in Q2 starting in 3 minutes time, folks. We've already got the McLarens queuing up at the end of the pit lane. McLaren are ready to go, and they are queuing up at the end of the pits. And I think we've also got one of the Williams also queued up there as well. Yeah, here we go then. 3 minutes, and the conditions, it's still raining now. The rain has intensified a little bit, so because of that, it'll be optimal to get out as soon as possible. They'll probably come out on fresh sets of inters, maybe slightly used inters for the first laps, but we'll have 12 minutes of Q3 if there aren't any red flags or any interruptions like that. It is Q3 that will be taking place. The data will update very, very shortly. Okay. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final top 10 shootout. Is it going to be a pole position for Lando Norris? Is it going to be a pole position for Fernando Alonso? Don't discount Fernando Alonso, man. In these wet conditions, Alonso is right there, and he will extract every ounce of pace that Aston Martin has got to offer. And maybe we'll see Alonso get a pole position. That would be wild. I would love to see that. Yeah. But Ocon's first in the queue, and then we have Albon, and then we have the two McLarens. But everyone is queued up now. 1 minute and 30 seconds till the green light at the end of the pit lane, and till we are racing. Two RBs into Q3. I mean, the two RBs are into Q3, and the two Red Bulls are eliminated. What a turn of events this has been, and this is why we love wet conditions, and this is why we love the rain. Yes, yesterday, of course, we had the postpone and the cancellations and the delays and all of that. But on the other hand, you get fantastic qualifying sessions like this. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Very much do appreciate all of the support. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We can get very close to 4,000 likes, which would be a record for qualifying. And I think we also broke the record for the live number of viewers as well. How many do we have? 25,000 at peak. I think that's the highest I've ever had it for a quali session as well. So, yeah, breaking the records left, right, and centre. Verstappen has broken the record for the most number of days led as a World Drivers' Champion. I think he's like 897 days or something like that Max Verstappen has been in the lead of the World Drivers' Championship. I think Schumacher did 896. Verstappen has broken that today with 897. Yeah. Very nice. Here we go. 17 seconds now till the drivers exit the pit lane and Q3 will be underway. All right, here we go then. Drivers are making their way out. Ocon, Albon, Piastri, Norris. Everyone's leaving. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know who you think is going to be on pole. I mean, I would love to put my money on Alonso. However, I don't know if that Aston Martin will be able to help him out along to that pole. I'm sure if Alonso was in the McLaren, pole would be most certainly his. I don't know about the Aston Martin though. So maybe Piastri, maybe Alonso, maybe Norris. Leclerc could do something special. Russell had a fantastic lap in Q1. Stroll has previously got pole in these conditions. Albon was, I think, in second place at some point in Q2. So, I mean, it's up for anyone, really, up for grabs. You've just got to get every single corner on this circuit perfect. There are 14 corners on this circuit. Turn number 12, probably one of the most important ones because you've got a 1 kilometer straight after that. But the track is wet, the drivers are out, and we are qualifying. Okay. Here we go then. Leclerc's out the pits, so is Russell. Everyone's out on a fresh set of intermediate tyres. Nobody is taking a gamble going out on old sets of inters. Everyone is out on a fresh set. I think they'll probably have enough fuel for the entire session. Maybe some drivers will come into the pits halfway through. I'm not 100% certain on how the teams decide to go about this. But Ocon, Albon, Piastri all start their flying laps. Norris leaves a very big gap to his teammate Piastri, so Norris will have no spray in his vision, and that should help him out. Set a quick lap. And everyone, in fact, with only 9 drivers out on the circuit, everyone is very spread out. Everyone's staying away from each other to ensure that the spray does not become an issue. And let's keep an eye on these mini sectors, folks. Let's keep an eye. Piastri purple through the first sector. Fantastic first sector so far. Let's see what Norris can do. Norris is looking pretty quick as well, but he is a 10th down on his teammate. Alright, Lawson and Alonso also making their way around. The intermediate tyres, remember, ladies and gentlemen, the intermediate tyres do need a little bit more time to warm up. We could see the first laps be a little slow, and then the drivers slowly build up to the pace in the second laps, because the second laps is when the intermediate tyres will be at their peak. I think that's what we're seeing here. Alonso 2 seconds slower in the first sector. I think Alonso's taking his first lap slow, building up the temperature in the intermediate tyres, and then is going to go full send on his next lap. I think that might be the plan. But Piastri has gone all-out attack from the start. He's purple in the first sector, slightly slower than Ocon in the middle sector. In fact, 0.4 of a second slower than Ocon in the middle sector. Ocon fantastic in the middle sector. Norris, in fact, matches Ocon's time. Piastri's made a mistake there, and that's going to cost him dearly. 0.4 of a second is a huge margin in these sort of conditions. Piastri across the line. He goes quicker than Ocon by 1/10 of a second, but Norris is going to come across, and he's going to be at least 0.2 quicker than Piastri, I think. Here comes Lando Norris. He's half a second quicker than Piastri. Yeah, that mistake in the middle sector cost Piastri a huge amount. And, that's the thing. The middle sector, they're all like a flowing sequence of corners. You make a mistake in one, it compromises you for the next 2 corners minimum, and then you end up having a very bad middle sector. Alonso across the line, a 1:28 is a lap time. He's 3 seconds off the pace. That was a build-up lap, and now this is going to be the attacking lap from Fernando Alonso. Tsunoda across the line, 0.4 back. He goes quicker than Piastri. In second place for Tsunoda. Tsunoda was in P1 in Q1, so maybe it's going to be P3 in Q3. Who knows what happens? Russell gets a slight twitch of oversteer as he exits turn number 12 now, but his lap has been pretty good so far. Let's see where he comes across the line at. Alright, Piastri purple in the first sector, Ocon purple in the middle sector, Russell across the line, second place for him, Leclerc across the line, third place for him, and half a second is the gap between Lando Norris and George Russell, but Esteban Ocon says, thank you very much, I'll go up into first place by half a second. Those medium tyres are really warmed up now for Esteban Ocon, and he's with purple through the middle sector. half a second quicker than the competition. Piastri goes 0.4 of a second quicker than Ocon. What a lap by Piastri. Wow, Albon up into first. What? And Norris improves as well. The track is improving at a ridiculous rate. And we have got, oh, it's yellow flag, someone going slowly. That's Fernando Alonso. You don't expect him to make mistakes here, but the red flag is out. Alonso's off at turn number 11. 11's a very dangerous corner. It's nearly flat, but if you make a slight mistake, you're off into the barriers. Medical cars deployed, and Alonso's out of the session. Thank you for the donation once again, but your predictions, Alonso's in second place, and Alonso is most definitely in ninth. Both Astons are out of Q3, and we've got the red flag deployed. No, I would have hoped Alonso, maybe he went and got pole, but a mistake from Alonso, a very, very rare mistake, and he's gonna be hating himself for that, because he had a real shot potentially up into the top 3. He goes into the barriers. We'll get the replay shortly, but I think he was trying to go flat through turn number 11, which is very risky in these wet conditions. Probably hit a bit of standing water, and the car just spun right around. Okay, yeah. This red flag was so quick, that's why it took so long last time. Oh well, I'm sure there'll be some conspiracy theories. I'm sure that someone will investigate and calculate the exact amount of seconds before the crash and the red flag. But Alonso into the barriers he went, and he got out of the car. He's totally fine. But yeah, the session is paused. The third red flag out in the third qualifying session. What can we do? But Norris currently top of the times. He's half a second quicker than Albon. Piastri half a second. Half a second slower than his teammate as well. And quite a good lap there from Norris. Okay, F1 Gamer, who do you want on pole? I mean, I'll take anyone on pole. I mean, if you really want to spice things up for the championship, then it would be Norris on pole. Oh yeah, exactly. Alonso did exactly what I was predicting. Flat through. He's trying to go flat through 11. Touched the white line. The rear of the car snapped out, and into the barriers he went. Yeah, the car was looking so stable, but because the rear tyres are slightly wider than the fronts, Alonso's front tyres weren't on the painted white line. However, the rear tyres, because they are ever so slightly wider, it touched the white line, and a nice 360, and into the barriers he goes. If you want a fantastic championship battle, then I'd say Norris gets pole position, Verstappen starts in 17th, and then we have what could be another one of those historic Brazilian Grand Prix, exactly like we've had in 2012, exactly like we had in 2008 and 2007, like just a fantastic Grand Prix, and we could have another one of those. So let's see. Aston's going to have to repair 2 cars in 3 hours. Yeah, Aston Martin mechanics have got a lot of work to do. They've got to repair Stroll's... Well, repairing the front wing is not going to be an issue. They just put on another front wing. The rear wing, however, both Alonso and Stroll damaged the rear wing. So they're going to have to repair that, which takes a bit longer. And they'll also have to check the engine, make sure everything works before they go out for the race. Oh, another donation. Both the Red Bull Juniors in Q3. Yeah, both Red Bull Juniors in Q3, and both of the Red Bull senior team drivers aren't in Q3. Okay. Just being funnily mean now. You know the importance of yesterday's McLaren decision to switch Lando's wins, and Max doesn't have to manage any points. The gap could be reduced down to 19 points. Yes, that could happen. You know, Max could not score any points this weekend. However, I think the chances of Max not scoring any points are fairly low. Well, actually, it's probably, if you take into account a DNF from a crash or just being taken out by another driver, then maybe. But I think the same could happen to Lando Norris. You know, Norris could have a little crash, go off at turn number 12, have a spin, and I don't know. It's this is the thing. The whole championship relies on the fact that Norris gets a race win and Verstappen doesn't. Verstappen scores 0 points or DNFs in one of the next 4 races. So there is always the chance that could happen, and lots of people are hoping for something like that to happen. However, there's no guarantee. So, you can keep your hopes up, but you have to take that into account. It all relies on the fact that Verstappen gets a DNF. Otherwise, it's slightly unrealistic that Norris, finishes first in the next 4 races in a row, and then Verstappen finishes in 4th or lower. I think Verstappen has a good shot of finishing on the podium for the next couple of races as well. So we'll wait and see. We shall wait and see what happens. Do you think Bottas will get points for Sauber? Actually, that could happen, actually. Given the fact that there's Stroll and Alonso and Lawson. Stroll and Lawson definitely could make a mistake in the race, or even, Bottas could just overtake them on pure pace, and Bottas starting in 11th position in the Sauber would be fantastic. Hopefully they can score some points this season, because it would be a very, very sad way for Valtteri Bottas to go. Maybe if he doesn't get a drive for next year, then it would be very sad to see him end this final season on 0 points. So it'd be good to see Bottas get up into the top 10, maybe up into 6th or 7th position, depending on how it goes. All right, the red flag is taking slightly longer than normal, folks, because they're going to have to check the barriers. It was quite the big impact for Fernando Alonso. The medical car was deployed, and that's why they're just having to check the Tech Pro, make sure that all of the barriers and the safety measures are in good condition, and then we'll go racing again. All right. Oh yeah, F1 Game. We are 3.8k likes, just 200 away. Yeah. We're not too far away from 4,000 likes. So, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. I'll be commentating the race, which is happening in 3.5 hours. So this is gonna be exciting. P17 to points will be harder though with that car. Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing. If you watch back 2016, if you watch back the 2016 race, Verstappen was overtaking Nico Rosberg, Sebastian Vettel, in the quicker cars like nobody's business, right? And he was in the Red Bull at that time, which Red Bull wasn't the quickest car, but he was overtaking the top drivers like no tomorrow, because he just had so much pace in the wet. So I think something like that, something similar could be replicated, and we could see Verstappen pull off some insane moves this weekend and fight his way back up into the points, maybe even the podiums if the pit stops and some drivers ahead of him crash and things like that. The marshals now, they're still working away on the Tech Pro, getting everything repaired before the session restarts. In fact, we have just got the message. Session resuming in 5 minutes times, folks. 5 minutes and the session will resume. McLaren have just immediately sent the drivers out to the end of the pit lane. The session's restarted, and there we go. Imagine Ferrari abandon Lewis's signing and change to Bottas. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Ferrari have already paid Lewis like a significant chunk of money, and they've given him many, many millions, and there's many millions in the contract, so I don't think that contract is going to get broken, really. Oh wow, we've hit our like target. Well, why not? 5,000 likes. Let's see if it can happen. But yeah, the red flag, we will be going racing in 5 minutes, 4 minutes now. And can you do a quick recap of what happened in quali? I've missed it so far. Okay, so in Q1, we had there was a driver that crashed in Q1, I think. We had a lot of yellow flags because drivers were going off at turn number 12. However, the only driver that got eliminated out of Q1, the only significant driver that got eliminated was Hamilton. Hamilton had a terrible qualifying session and unable to extract the pace, while his teammate was up in second place. Like, it wasn't the Mercedes was slow. Like, Russell was quick. Hamilton just had no grip. And then, in fact, I forgot what crash happened in Q1. It was Colapinto. Yeah, Colapinto crashed in Q1. And we had a red flag because of that, and a couple of drivers couldn't finish their laps and things, and Hamilton eliminated, yeah. And then in Q2 we had, who crashed in Q2? Was it Stroll? Yeah, Stroll crashed in Q2 first, and then Sainz crashed in Q2 right at the end. And because Sainz crashed right at the end, Oh no, sorry, it was the other way around. Sainz crashed first. Stroll crashed right at the end of Q2. They brought out the red flag. Verstappen, Perez, Bottas, none of them could finish their laps, and that's why they got eliminated in Q2. And now Q3 has happened, and Alonso's crashed at turn number 11. And now we've got this red flag, which is about to get cleared up. And in 2-3 minutes, we'll be going racing. Yeah, 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and we'll be underway. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, wow, what a qualifying session this has been. Didn't Hamilton get his fastest lap time deleted in Q1? I think he might have. I won't be able to scroll back and check, though. I think we've had far too many lap time deletions. I think it's gone too far off the screen for me to check. The weather, it is still raining as far as I can tell, but the rain isn't all that intense. Like, it's nothing like yesterday, and the driver's totally fine to drive on intermediate tyres. Yeah, Mark Justine, I've just watched the highlights of the 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix. I think this will be a Max highlights again. It could be, but I'm sure a lot of drivers will have rewatched the entire race. Like, there are definitely some drivers on the grid that will have the dedication to just rewatch the entire onboard, like 2 hour on board from Max Verstappen's race and see what he's doing. Oh, he went and explored this curve. He went and did this. He went and did that. And from this information, he gathered that the outside line of turn number 3 has more grip than the inside line, and then he made an overtake on Nico Rosberg on the outside of turn number 3. So all of these things, other drivers will have analysed. Like, I know that the drivers are that dedicated that they will watch a full 2 hour on board of a driver that's done well just to figure out how they did it. And that's maybe what Ocon and that's maybe what Albon have done, and that's why they are performing sensationally. They've learned the tricks that Max Verstappen was using in 2016, and they're applying them, and they're clearly working very well. Like, I don't know that for certain, but maybe that's what's happened. Do you think anyone can improve their times? Certainly, they can definitely improve their times. Because the first runs that they did on the Inters, they weren't properly heated up. So once they are properly heated up, everyone will be able to improve. There we go. Timer is ticking down again. Green light at the end of the pit lane. And the drivers are making their way out. Very nice. George Russell, first one to lead the way. Then we have Lando Norris. And then we'll have the rest of the drivers coming out as well. Right. There's a potential sub 120. Sub 120 I think is unlikely. If we look at the previous pole positions at Brazil, in 2018 we had Hamilton, 2019 we had Verstappen, 2021 Bottas, 2022 Russell, 2023 Verstappen. So maybe we'll see Russell score another pole position here. Bottas isn't here, Verstappen isn't here, Hamilton isn't here. So or maybe we'll get a new driver to add to that pole list at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Maybe it'll be Lando Norris. All right. Here we go then. Everyone's spreading themselves out. We've only got 8 drivers now taking part in Q3. Everyone comes out of the pits. Everyone comes out in a fresh set of intermediates. I don't know if that's a glitch in the data, but I think everyone does have an extra fresh set of inters. However, they may need them in the race. So I don't know what the logic is. Are you going to use all of them in quali and not have fresh inters for the race? I guess it doesn't matter. If you only do 4 or 5 laps on them in quali, then you can get away in using them in the race. It's not going to matter too big. It's not going to have too big of an impact. So let's wait and see. George Russell, first driver to start his flying lap. Let's go on board with him. He makes a huge snap of oversteer through turn number 1. He might as well have bought that lap. That's written off, I think. And is he still attacking? No, I think he's backed off slightly. Because there's really no point pushing all that hard. Yeah, slower than his personal best at 21.9. And yeah, he goes wide at turn number 4 as well. Russell's messed that one up. Let's see what Lando Norris behind him can do. It's a 21.6. in the first sector, 21.6 for Albon behind him as well. Looks like drivers aren't improving that much. We'll wait and see. We've still got 4 minutes left of the session. I mean, 8 drivers driving around. They'll clean up the track fairly quickly. Yeah, in fact, Albon gets a purple mini sector in sector number 1. So he should be fine. How many tyres can the teams use in the weekend for the quali in the race? I don't know about the intermediate tyres, unfortunately. I forgot that information. At some point I did know, but I forgot now. Leclerc does improve in the first sector, and so does Tsunoda. So there is still grip, and yellow flag. Tsunoda is going slowly at turn number 4. We saw Russell go off there at turn number 4. Is that going to be a red flag? I don't know. Norris is now coming towards the start-finish line. Russell goes across the line, 1:28.5, 3 seconds off the pace there. Green flag again. Tsunoda's got going. Norris across the line. He's a second off his personal best. And let's see what Leclerc can do as he makes his way through the middle sector. There are 3 minutes and another yellow flag. Who's that? Albon now at turn number 1. Leclerc's going slowly. I think Leclerc's going to start a flying lap, but Albon, red flag again. Oh no, and the rear of Albon's car is totally destroyed. The rear suspension and the rear wing. He's okay, but the car is most definitely not. Both of the rear tyres, the rear wing, maybe even the gearbox as well. Everything totally smashed in Albon's car. The repair costs for Williams, I mean, both Aston Martins are going to have to get repaired. Both of the Williams are going to have to get repaired. The Williams mechanics had enough on their hands to repair Colapinto's car. Now they've got the entire rear of Alex Albon's car to rebuild. He is very, very frustrated. He's got his head in his hands, banging his head around the cockpit now, and we will have the session restart again with 3 minutes left on the clock, but I don't know if conditions will get any better. Albon is totally fine. He's already taken the steering wheel out of the car, but he is just very, very frustrated. Oh my god, what's this? 4 red flags? 5 red flags? I think we had Colapinto crash, Stroll crash, Alonso crash, Sainz crash, and now Albon crash. So, yeah, 5 red flags, and we still haven't got to the end of Q3. Unbelievable, guys. 24,000 people watching. Thank you, everyone, for sticking along this session. It's been a roller coaster of a session, really. And yeah, everyone back into the pits now, and we'll see what they can do. We've got the replay here of Alex Albon. He's going into turn number 1. Oh, wow, he aquaplanes going into turn number 1, and there's nothing that he can do, not even a mistake of his own. Just huge aquaplaning, and he said, did the brakes fail? And it seemed like maybe they did. I don't know if it's aquaplaning or the brakes failing, but he was on the normal race circuit. He wasn't on the white line. He wasn't on the curbs, and it seemed like maybe one side of the brake started work. One side of the car's brakes were working. One side of the cars weren't, and maybe they spun around or something because there wasn't enough water for him to aquaplane. Maybe a brake failure. That's what Albon thinks. But his car is so badly damaged after that. And wow, oh my god. Yeah, that's going to be a big bill that they're going to have to check, a big check that they're going to have to pay to get that car replaced. I mean, I don't know if they're even going to have enough spare parts. Williams have a history of not having enough spare parts. Maybe Albon's just going to have to sit out the race. I think it happened, and maybe last season or this season, I can't remember which race exactly. But, oh yeah, it was Sargent. Sargent had, they damaged the car, and Albon had crashed his car, but then Sargent had to give Albon his car or something like that because they didn't have enough spare parts. Oh yeah, guys, apologies for the adverts. The way that the system works is I have to keep pressing pause adverts every 10 minutes on YouTube, and I was a little bit too focused on watching the crash that Albon had just done, and I forgot to press the block adverts button. So yeah, hopefully you guys don't continue getting adverts. But yeah, I just pressed it again. I was just far too focused on what Albon had done to press the button. We have a replay of George Russell when he was on his first flying lap. He locked up going into turn number 4, and he thankfully managed to unlock it, but yeah, exceeded track limits quite wildly. And we've got a replay here of Piastri with a huge, he did a full 360 in fact, and he just managed to keep the car under control there. It was super, super close. We've got the replay now of Tsunoda as he was going into turn number 4. He had a very similar thing to Albon, where the car just rotated out from underneath him. However, turn number 4, it's much, much more likely to aquaplane. And I think Tsunoda's rear tyre may have been on the white line, which might have caused that. But yeah, still very strange. It seemed like both drivers, the car just snapped out from underneath them as they got onto the brakes. Interesting. I mean, that is an issue when in these low grip conditions, because you slam onto the brakes, all of your the loading of the on the tires goes all the way to the front, and then because it's all on the front, there's not that much load on the rears, and it's quite easy to lock them up. So yeah, all right. The Marshall's now pushing all of the debris off onto the edge of the circuit. Not long till we get underway. This highlights reel for qualifying is going to be ridiculous. If you watch all of the snaps that all of the drivers have, all of the onboards that they every time that they go off the circuit or get a big snap of oversteer, the highlights are going to be at least 30 minutes long with this one. The Williams mechanics and the engineers are just looking so utterly depressed. They don't even know if they're going to have enough spare parts. I can't describe it really. They just look they aren't very pleased. Weather update: it's still raining. It's still fairly light rain, I think. Track conditions will be getting worse as there's no drivers driving around. So there'll be a slight build-up of standing water. However, I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. Hyan F has donated 20 sec. The bottom 5 are breaking the 107% rule disqualified. No, the 107% rule only applies when track conditions don't change significantly. So because the track conditions were significantly different in Q1 compared to in Q2, compared to in Q3, the lap times the 107% rule does not apply. In the same way as if it was if it was wet in Q1 and then dry in Q3, the 107% rule doesn't apply. For any of you folks that don't know, the 107% rule is that the driver in 20th position, any driver must be within 7% of the lap time of the driver in first place. And that applies in dry conditions, just to make sure that you don't have someone who's dangerously slow on the circuit. But yeah, it's not going to be an issue because track conditions change. The rule gets voided, and everyone will take part. All right, today's race is going to be fun. Oh, I can tell you that for sure. However, I don't know how many red flags we're going to have. I mean, how long has this stream been going on for? I don't actually know. When did I start streaming? I started streaming at 10. So it's been 2 hours of a stream. And I've been streaming for 2 hours. The session's going to restart in 3 minutes' time. In 4 minutes' time, the session's restarting, and then we'll have another 3 minutes of qualifying. So, yeah, 2 hours of 10 minutes for a quali stream. And then I will be... I'll also be streaming for another, probably 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, depending on the number of red flags that we have. Yeah. So, wow. Oh, wow. Rome has donated $20. Thank you very much, Rome. Very much is appreciated. Yeah. Everyone donating and helping out the channel is very much appreciated. Of course, I do try to block adverts on the live streams to make sure that you guys don't get an advert, as someone's about to set a poll lap time. And the donations really help out. So thank you very, very much. And very grateful to have you guys as fans. The race is in 1 hour and 54 minutes. I don't think so. I think the race is in more like 3 hours. No, yeah, 3 hours and 24 minutes is when the race is in. My stream starts in 1 hour 54 minutes, I think, but the race is in 1 hour. Is in 2 hours and 3 hours and 24 minutes. All right. Oh, another donation. Is this the most red flags in a qualifying session? Actually, I don't know. Maybe it is. In fact, let me Google it. Most red flags in a qualifying session. There's probably been one qualifying session like in Monaco that has had more, but who knows? Let's see. Most red flags in F1 quali. Oh no, I don't know. Oh, okay. No, the record is 5. Sorry. Today's qualifying session has broken the record for most number. Hungary 2016 and Azerbaijan 2021, I think, had 4. And then the most that they've had is 5. So if we get another red flag, then that'll be 6. So the record's 5. We're tied with the most number of red flags that we've ever had in a qualifying session. Maybe we'll have some more. Let's wait and see. I didn't think so though. We're down to what was I going to say? We're down to now 7 drivers taking part in Q3 rather than 10 drivers. Also, if the drivers can't improve, which they might not be able to, considering that it has been raining for the whole entire period of the red flag, that's going to mean that there is more water on the circuit and there's going to be less grip. Albon, with a damaged car, may be starting in 2nd position, which is, I mean, the Williams mechanics are really going to want to repair that car ASAP, because if Albon's starting in 2nd, that's a fantastic opportunity for them to score a load of points. But yeah, I forgot to even point out the fact that Albon's crashed his car, but he's going to be in 2nd position, which is incredible. But here we go now, folks. The green flag is going to come out any second now. And there we go, green light. We've got the message to Esteban Ocon, and the timer has started ticking. And we are underway for qualifying for the 6th time. 6th time in the past 2 hours. Yeah. How much time till Q3? Q3 is underway. There's 3 minutes left of Q3. Oh, and another donation. Oh my god. MZA996. Thank you for the £20 donation. These highlights are going to be crazy. Love your channel. Well, thank you very, very much. I'm glad that you enjoy the channel, enjoy the streams. Also, I would like to point out, Albon was on his lap. If you look at the mini sectors currently on the screen, if you look at Albon's mini sectors, he was purple in the first mini sector, purple in the second mini sector. His speed trap speed was 273 kilometers an hour, which wasn't the quickest out of anyone, but he was super quick in the first part of the lap. That could have been a pole position lap from Alex Albon. The car just slipped out from underneath him. So who knows what will happen with in these final minutes now. There's only 4 drivers coming out onto the circuit. Are the rest of the drivers just going to sit in the pits? Are they just like, oh, we don't want to go out, we don't want to crash our car, so we're just going to sit in the pits? Like, yeah, wow. There's a 15-second margin for 2 push laps. That's what they've said to Oscar Piastri, a 15-second margin. So essentially, for 2 push laps, they do have just enough juice in the battery to go maximum attack for both push laps. And considering the lap times are going to be around about a 1 minute 25, as long as the drivers come across the line before 1 minute 30, they should be fine to get 2 laps in. So Norris, with 1:50 left on the clock, he'll be fine to get 2 laps. Piastri also. Leclerc will get it as well, I think. Lawson, though, will only have 1 hot lap. And Russell comes out of the pits as well now, and he will also get only 1 hot lap. But if we're looking at those first sector times, are the drivers improving? Not hugely, I don't think. Ocon doesn't improve by a huge amount. Let's see what Norris can do. Quite a lot of yellow mini sectors there, but he's still green. He still improves, actually. So he improves by 23 milliseconds, so it's very, very tight. Piastri's a second down on Norris in the first sector. Yeah. Russell has been told to stay ahead of Leclerc, so Russell's got to start pushing immediately. There's 1 minute left on the clock here. Yeah, let's see. Are the rest of the drivers improving? No. Out of the drivers that are on hot laps, 4 of them, 3 of them are on yellow first sectors. Ocon purple in the middle sector. Actually, maybe not. Maybe drivers can still improve. Purple in the middle sector from Esteban Ocon. Let's see where that puts him up to. He's still a second behind from Norris's time, but Norris improves him on his personal best. He goes 2/10 quicker than he goes 2/10 quicker in the middle sector as well. And this could be huge for Lando Norris. This could secure pole position. There's 30 seconds left on the clock. He has got one more push lap to do. Piastri's also got another push lap. Russell will have 1 lap. Leclerc has got another push as well. And Lawson, Tsunoda, and Ocon are on their flyers. Ocon came across the line. It's 4th place for him. He improved, but it's not going to be enough. He has time to do another hot lap, so he might be on another hot lap. In fact, yeah. All right. Lando Norris improves again and a 124.0. He's a half a second ahead of Albon, 0.6 of a second ahead of his teammate. Checkered flag is out, and Piastri going slowly through turn number 3. Oh no, he's just got out of the way for Piastri. I think he's got out of the way for Russell. Sorry, and Russell's on a hot lap, and this could be huge from Russell. He's got 2 purple mini sectors there. He's green in the first sector, and this is looking real good. But here comes Lawson now. Tsunoda's up on Norris. Tsunoda's up on Norris's time through the middle sector. Tsunoda could end up on pole if he nails the final corner. Here comes Liam Lawson. 2nd place for Liam Lawson. He's a rookie. This is his 3rd qualifying session, the first one in wet conditions, and he's in 2nd place. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda. What's it gonna be? Oh, 2nd place for Tsunoda. 19 milliseconds. That's how close it is. Oh my goodness me. Here comes Lando Norris. It's on his 2nd flying lap. He might be able to save this one. Ocon 3rd place for him. And here comes Lando Norris, purple in the middle sector for him. And is he going to extend his lead out at the front? Yes, he is. 0.7 of a second. A sensational lap from Lando Norris. And he's 0.7 of a second ahead of the competition. Wow. Okay, here comes George Russell now. What can he do? 2 green sectors, 3 green sectors. He's 2/10 back from Lando Norris. Both Brits. We've got a British 1-2. Charles Leclerc in 6th place is not enough to improve from there. And Oscar Piastri's into the pits. Lando Norris starts on pole position. George Russell in 2nd, and Yuki Tsunoda in 3rd. What a lap from Yuki Tsunoda. Ocon in the Alpine has dragged that Alpine into 4th position. He started the sprint race in 14th. He's now in 4th in wet conditions. Fantastic driving by Esteban Ocon. And we've got Lawson, the rookie, is in 5th. What a lap from him. Charles Leclerc in 6th place. We've got Piastri with a terrible lap. He's in fact ends up behind Albon, who's crashed in Q3. And then Albon, Alonso and Stroll, all of them crashed, and they end up out of the session. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to have to redirect you. We've got another donation. Luke, thank you for the donation. VCarb domination could bore fans. Indeed, it could. Tsunoda's going to be over the moon here. And, right, I'm going to end the stream. I'll take you over to the race stream. It's happening. The race is starting in 3 hours and 15 minutes. I'll be going live in 2 hours and 45 minutes. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in. I've got to go have my lunch, and I'll be back for qualifying. But yeah, don't go anywhere, because this is going to be a spectacular Grand Prix. This is going to be one that goes into the memory books. So yeah, if you could hit the like button and the reminder button on the race stream, that massively helps out the channel. If you get to 5,000 likes on this stream, that would be incredible. But what a qualifying session this has been, and I will see you for the race. So be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the reminder button for the race. Wow. See you later, folks. This is going to be special.